Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final session today on track 1. You'll see in front of you some pens and paper and some of the tables. If you wanted to join other tables that have pens and papers, that's absolutely fine. I'm very delighted to be joined today by Peter, and I'm going to pray I'm going to pronounce this right, Manniche Riber. Semi-okay? And he is coming to us from Denmark to talk to us today about data correlation with learning performance. And Peter has spent a lot of time looking at the correlation between data and performance and making sure the data is accountable. So he will be exploring with you in an interactive session hyper-targeting marketing campaigns to drive engagement. So pens and paper at the ready, any electrical devices, and Peter, it's over to you.
Thank you, Hannah. Are you about ready for drinks? Because I'm the only thing standing between you and a glass of wine or a cold beer. All right? I'm the only thing. So I think I'll run over time. I've got 68 slides, and we're doing all of them. Okay? All right. I work at a pharma company called Novo Nordisk. We have our headquarters in Denmark, but we're present in 92 countries, and we produce medicine to help people with diabetes primarily, but also other chronic diseases and obesity. So, kind of a cool purpose. But today I'm not going to talk too much about pharma or anything else like that. I'm going to talk passionately about something which has been existing for decades, guys. Marketing is not new. It's not rocket science. It's not. I'm not going to tell you something revolutionary today. I'm not going to give you anything new to go home with. You can Google it if you want to. That's the easy way. Or take some of the pointers today. But I'm just going to say this has been existing for decades. Nothing new. It's kind of reassuring, right? Okay. And the rules of engagement is I always take my shoes off because it makes it memorable. Both the smell for the front row, but also the colorful socks, and it's much more comfortable. If you guys want to make it comfortable for you guys as well, just do it, feel free, put your legs up, have fun. Okay? There's a lot of interaction between us. I can feel the energy in the room. Super cool. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the support. Should we get started? Yeah, all right. Thank you for that, at least. Oh, by the way, I came up with a lot of big, hyper cool words in this title. How cool is that, by the way? Like new HR terms. We need more HR terms that no one understands. That's exactly what the world needs. So I made one up. Discuss, please, on the among yourselves in the table, on the tables with, not on the tables, but by the tables. That's probably better grammar. I'm not a native speaker, by the way. You probably noticed. What are you accountable for in your function if you work in L&D, or what is the L&D team accountable for? Please discuss. Give you a couple minutes. Oh, forgot something. You have to agree on one word and write it on that piece of paper on the table. If you don't have a piece of paper on the table, find a table that has a piece of paper or steal a piece of paper from the other table, okay? But you have to write one word with a marker. What are you accountable for? All right. Have you written a word yet? Or do you need a little bit more time? No reply. You're right? Please put it in the air. Improvement, performance. I can't read the rest of it. Development. What's that? Enabling. Where's the microphone, Hannah? I mean, come on, you've got one job. Sorry, that was rude. Enablement, performance, improvement, skills framework, Charlie, thank you. No. What's that? Opportunity. Facilitating capability. 2 words. Well, if you could have put a line between it. Hannah, do you have any contributions from the
head and he's going to put it back on for me. Development.
All right.
Performance development, which 2 words, but we'll let it happen. And performance, and also improvement, and also a picture of you.
Okay.
We have another one up here.
Did anyone put an increase of 2% in the sales next year on your piece of paper?
I'm going to check.
I stretched
Nice.
it, okay?
No.
But did anyone put sales, income, revenue? Are you not accountable for that? Are we just accountable for delivering training, ensuring performance? I know performance is kind of coming close, right? That's close enough. Financial performance, there we go. Thank you so much. That's where we wanted to take this. I've lost the clicker. Where's the clicker? Here we go. Okay. My point here is, and this is something I see quite a lot. I'll get to the campaign stuff, right? I'll just deliver all the boring stuff first, and then we'll get to the juicy stuff at the end. All right? I promise. Why are we not brave enough in learning functions to go all the way and actually be accountable for financial results, employee well-being, or whatever it is, and make it measurable? Why does it always have to be delivering a solution or improving skills? So what? The business, they don't care. You can hear my tone of voice. I started shouting now. I'm passionate about this stuff. And this is the question. One of the probably 3 questions I'll pose to you guys that you should remember is, why don't you feel accountable for what happens in the business when you work in learning and development? Good question. Okay, I am horrible at metaphors, but that will not make me stop trying. All right? So bear with me here. Does anyone know what restaurant this is? This is disappointing. It's so obvious. Does anyone know what the world's best restaurant is? And coincidentally, which country it is in? It's in Denmark, thank you. It's called Noma. Yeah. So that's a gourmet restaurant. So every one of you, try and just close your eyes for a couple of seconds. I will check. And picture yourself as the gourmet L&D person that you are. Just embody yourself in the feeling. All right? You're a gourmet L&D, not just any L&D, but gourmet, right? And here comes the business, and they've got the first order on the plate for you guys. Are you ready? Thank you to the 2 people that left. I think it's super funny. So now you're a gourmet L&D chef, and the business is coming by asking you for 3 cheeseburgers, a Diet Coke, some fries, and chili cheese chops to go with that, right? But that's not what you do, is it? Is that frustration that someone can recognize that you're being asked the wrong things as you see it? Does anyone recognize that? Hands up if you do. Keep your hands down if you don't. You lucky bastard. Sorry, you lucky. All right. So, gourmet chefs, they don't take orders, right? They don't. But what if the questions were different from the business? Would that be okay? So if the business came to you guys saying, production efficiency, it's not going right now area. Can you help us with that? Sales is dropping in Hungary, of all places. Can you help? Is that the kind of questions that you guys are getting? Probably not, right? No. They're used to coming to you guys if they need training and learning and development. But that's just not what businesses do, right? So why can't we help with these things? Why aren't this the questions that we're getting? I will come with an answer. Don't worry. Do not fear. Here it is. So what we're trying to do in my team is we're trying to turn that conversation over. We've been talking about that for ages in L&D. A seat at the table, I think we call it, right? And you are seated at a table, fortunately, so it's good. So now you can turn this conversation around. It requires a couple of things that I'll go through how to do it. But if you go to the business and say, oh, we can see that there's a decrease in sales here for this group of people over the last 6 months. We also know that these learning interventions have helped in other contexts. Should we try and deploy that to see if we get similar results? That is such a cool conversation, because you'll actually be helping with something that the business cares about, right? I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. I shouldn't be. I'm sorry. I'm just so passionate about this stuff. So, all this stuff is something you can find internally in the data that you have in your business if you just go and collect it. Be curious. Go and connect with the data people in the organization. Find out what the trends are internally. Where are the problems in the business? And then focus on helping them solve those problems. Boom. That's a meaningful conversation with the business. And they will stop asking you for training. And they will start asking you to deliver results. It's so meaningful. Yeah. 5 minutes around the table. Try and remember the last requests that you have had in your role. What are the people that you serve asking you to do? What requests do you get? And would you like to change that? It's a loaded question after I just convinced you that it's super cool to change it, right? But please have that conversation. And what are the obstacles for you guys to actually do that if you want to? Discuss, please, a couple of minutes. Then we'll have a couple of people voluntold to contribute after that. All right, Hannah, let's get you on the floor. Who wants to contribute with a comment? Otherwise, I will pick random people out of the blue.
Are you going to pick random people that I have to run to, or they're going to be near me?
Okay, you pick them. So
I have another.
Thank you.
You've got one. Cool. Oh, you've got a mic down there. So what have you been talking about?
Amazing. Right, let's have a look. What have you been talking about?
So for me, I quite often get requests from a management team around topics that they would like people to know about, rather than what you were saying about it coming from a need. So yes, I would like to change that so that it was, I could see why I was doing it and serving a purpose.
Yeah. Can I just show my deepest empathy? I've been in that situation for 15 years. I mean, we're all there. It is frustrating. Thank you for that.
I'm randomly picking tables here.
Oh, hi. Yeah, well, so we were talking about requests coming through when you get a skills gap. And then one of the changes was to not just offer learning, but to get people back into the office so they can learn from others, in particular senior managers.
All right. Back into the office. Oh, man, thank God that isn't me. I don't want to go back. But thank you for contributing. Thank you so much. One more?
One more.
Well, we were saying that quite often HRBP role is to get to the need bottom. So that's my colleague here saying that. But I was also saying that the same applies for recruitment area, which I'm responsible for. So this is exactly the same. You sometimes you get the request, recruit this person, and you just start recruiting. But if you don't get deeper to the actual need, sometimes it's not working, because then it turns out actually you need totally somebody else, yes? So it's really important to ask that in the recruitment area as well.
Okay. I'll expand next time, so we go into talent attraction as well. That's actually a really good point, by the way. Can we have one more? The gentleman with the phone in the blue shirt in the back.
You're going to have to help me here, gentleman with the phone.
Super smart to say with the blue shirt.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I did a request recently, which was do a day for leaders. But it was okay, because then they quantified it and then they made it a bit more specific. One of them said, I want to make sure they have fun.
Okay.
And then the other one said, I want to make sure that they leave not thinking it was a waste of time.
Both very measurable things.
So I suggested they all just went to the pub and had a lovely day at the pub.
Yeah, it sounds like a better learning experience. Yeah, all right. Thank you for that, by the way. Okay. There's a red thread in this, and you'll get it in the end. You might be a little bit confused now, but that's also frustrating and a learning experience for you guys right now, okay? There are drinks on the other side of this, I promise. Okay. Let's go back to May 2022. Besides my birthday in May, there was also an event here at the Excel where I did the first talk. This is the sequel. So I thought I'd better turn back time and give you a little bit of insights, because you need that if you need to understand what we're doing in the campaigns. We need to talk about data. Who's ready to talk about data? At least there's some energy here. Yes, okay, let's do it then for that one person. Right, this is boring. Everyone in a leadership position like myself, we're tasked to make a strategy, otherwise we can't work, right? So I made a strategy, and it looks like this. We have a learning experience platform, God help us. It does the trick. Collects the learning into one place, people can go in, illusion, people just pour in and take learning. Doesn't happen, but we have one place to collect data on consumption. Thank you so much. At some point, we will end up, hopefully here, where we can predict performance outcome. We can't do that without enough data, so it'll take time. And we cannot do it without marketing, because we need to engage people to give us more data. Okay? So this is our data model. This is our foundation. We take consumption behavior, content attributes, provider, all sorts of stuff from the learning world, and then we correlate that with skill growth, items consumed, cultural change, business performance, the most interesting bit, and behavior change. All that stuff becomes this kind of stuff that we do analysis on. This is our foundation to do marketing. You cannot do, you should not, marketing campaigns without data. It is just random emails. Okay? So please don't go home, start your marketing machine if you don't have any data. Okay? Build your foundation first, and that's an order. All this stuff obviously can't show you because it's top secret, but here's a list and you will get it. Maybe you can just start ticking off stuff if you want to, or make a better list, even better. This question is the hardest thing in the whole world. I am trying to get a six-pack, as you can see. That is easier than getting L&D people to ask this question before they design anything. Can we please design learning and training to fix business problems or to help people grow, well-being, whatever? But just articulate why you are doing it before you design it, please, because it makes it so much easier to measure. It makes it so much easier to market these things to the right people at the right time. Okay, now we have to talk again. I'll stop this interaction stuff soon so that you can just sit back and listen for the last couple of hours that we have together. Your leadership development programs. Everyone has leadership development programs. You probably just made a new one, because the world needs more of those. Which specific measurable business challenges are they aiming to solve? Can you please articulate that on a piece of paper for me? I will collect it and take it home and cherish it forever, because I need more examples. If you can't do it, that's fair enough. But then think why? What are our leadership's development programs actually supposed to do for the business? Develop leaders. Yeah, great. So what? Please talk amongst yourselves. You know these programs. You've probably been on them or have designed them. What's the specific measurables? Please give me some good examples now. And you can't leave the room, by the way. You cannot exit this. It's on. All right. I mean, we can't keep talking forever. So, we'll do the tour again. Is there anyone who voluntarily that's not what it's called, but is anyone volunteering to, could you please help me?
I'm going to volunteer Charlie because
Yes.
he has never scribbled so hard in his entire life.
I know.
He really wants this beer. There we go.
That's because Morton was pressuring me into writing some stuff. So we're doing something at the moment for leadership, KPIs or performance outcomes. So we're looking at engagement overall. This is for a large airport, I won't say which one. A large airport, so engagement, which is measured through Pulse on a quarterly basis. So we have benchmark data for that, which means we can then see if there's a shift. That also includes sort of well-being metrics, so kind of the quality of, I guess, how people are feeling about stuff. Then we're looking at, another part of it is looking at sort of number of, I guess, disciplinaries and absence and things like this for employees. So how much of, because that's a big issue for airports, which are basically big security operations. We're also looking at the impact at the end state, which is customer service. So is the quality of well-being, the engagement that people have, the number of disciplinaries and absence, that should have a sort of a follow-on into customer service. Also in safety as well, so that's another kind of key metric for us. And then finally, more kind of generally looking at, I suppose, awareness and application of policy. So one of the focuses is increasing the quality of conversations that leaders are having with their people. And part of that conversation needs to be how they apply, if needed, those policies and the impact it has. So that's just a snapshot. I couldn't think of everything else, but yeah.
Should we give Charlie a round of applause?
I think he earned that beer. Oh,
He
I love a
obviously just
volunteer.
made all that up, but yeah.
Yeah, bit similar to what Charlie said, but these are improve retention, and then the really simple management stuff, which is absolutely measurable, is actually do your probation reviews, because you can measure that. You know, at the end of the day, you either get a probation review, someone gets a job, or they don't get the job, which unfortunately doesn't happen well a lot of the time. And then less disciplinaries. So programs that, you know, prevent, that decrease the amount of disciplinaries that are happening in the organization.
Cool stuff.
Thank you. All right, I'm going on the prowl. Does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, round of applause. Thank you.
Hands.
Thank you for remembering. Well done.
In addition to all the fine points that have already been made, are leaders developing themselves? And are they modeling what good development looks like?
Yeah? How would you measure that? Counter question.
For example, we have internal technical communities, so ways that they could show leadership in different areas of their practice or their field, in addition to perhaps those more, so measuring their engagement with those communities, measuring their impact and that footprint within the organization.
I'm going to get a cup of coffee with you afterwards, where I'll ask 7 more questions until we get to the numbers bit. But it's fair enough, and it's a good point. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Do we have anything over on this table? I have a hand up.
We've designed a program to help identify high potential existing leaders, also to improve the engagement across our existing leadership development offer, down to the numbers. We've actually calculated that amongst people who have completed over 85% of our program offer, they are 2.5 times more likely to actually move up in the business. And managers who are engaging across a substantial amount of the offer, that does trickle down. But we've also identified that people who aspire to become leaders who are engaging in it have driven an improved behavior in the people above them. So, and I've got the numbers. It took a lot of convincing, but now that I've got the numbers, it's a lot easier to sell it into the parts of the business that did not care prior.
Exactly. That's the point. Good points. Round of applause for both of you. Thank you for contributing. Yeah, man. You guys are great at this. I don't even have to be here. Why are we having this session? Yeah. I've been on a lot of leadership programs, both as a contributor and also designing them, and all sorts of, I've yet to see something being designed from a business problem. we all have leadership development programs because they're supposed to exist in our organization. We can kind of agree on that, right? It's a historical thing. Did they derive from a problem? So whenever you go out in the organization, look for problems and then design from there. Thank you for playing along. Oh, yeah, you need a microphone. But thank you for, yeah. I'll take Yoda away because people are just looking
Just
at him.
very shortly, I just want to say that in order for us to be able to make decisions about what learning is needed, we need to have in place robust mechanism to tell us, to show us data. Like, for example, how much are you satisfied with your manager? How much are you satisfied from your team members? But usually in organizations, they don't give so much importance in building these mechanisms that will insert this kind of data with us learning and development. As many people said before, like, we're just asked 1 hour of training, 2 hours of training, and most probably this will not be efficient. But I just wanted to add this comment.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes. Well, that's also measurable. I'm not sure satisfaction says a lot about business stuff, but you can go even further, but it's a start. Yeah. Oh, I love Yoda. Baby Yoda even more, maybe. So this was actually what I was going to talk about. So we're 33 minutes into the session, and I haven't reached the subject yet. Before I show you tangible, real work that we've done, and not just talk about theory and all that stuff, I'll show you examples. I'll just say there's a few pointers I need to highlight first. If you're doing marketing campaigns, the content has to be good. The intervention has to be good, well-designed for the intention. You can't just take a random TED Talk and push it out there, or random videos from YouTube and think this doesn't matter. The content has to be well-designed. So call Egle, call Solve Together, call Nick Shackleton, I don't care. Use 5DI, do something cool to design the right intervention to fix the problem. Then we can talk about marketing. If you don't know about marketing, get to know it. It's been around for decades. Call Mars Marketing. They design courses that you can put yourself on to learn how to do marketing within learning. It's cool. We've actually got a dedicated company that does that. If you don't know data, get to know it. I hired someone. That's one way to do it. You can also just learn how to use Alteryx and Power BI and Excel. Excel is probably the most underrated thing that you can teach yourselves. It is amazing what you can do in Excel, just with numbers. Yeah. It's a little bit nerdy. This is cool. Do you remember mail merge from back in the day? That's our tool. That's how we're doing these campaigns. We're using mail merge. Is that cool? You don't look like it's mail. It's massively cool. It's an outdated tool that no one has used for 20 years, but it's a perfect fit for what we're trying to do. It has to be part of a bigger plan, guys. If people just receive random invitations to learning interventions that they don't see the bigger picture of, people will zone out eventually. Give them a career development plan. Make sure you do that right. So these are the few pointers, just a few, that you need to control. Okay? Yes, great. Here we go. Here's the juicy stuff. This is an example of how, I can't show you the campaigns that we've done on business performance because I can't show you numbers, I can't do that. So I'll do the ones that we're doing with skills, okay? It's a little bit less interesting, but it's the same mechanism. So what we're doing is we're inserting data fields here, which makes the email different to each individual who receives it. Hi, employee name 1. Have you ever received a spam email that said that, where they forgot to? Yeah. So we make sure that we have something to put in there. Thank you for engaging in skill. So that's different for every person. And rating yourself a rate on date. This is different from every person. But we noticed if we talk personally with people and give them a piece of information about something that they did, they will react more positively to it. They'll actually, they're more likely to do what we want them to do. Okay? That's different. Now, if you'd like to add a new element to your innovation board, check this great type of content. And this is actually the super cool bit. We are categorizing learning interventions in the back based on priorities. Did people take it before? Obviously, they shouldn't take it again, okay? Unless they didn't listen the first time. We don't record that, so we don't give them the second option. But also, did other people find this useful in the same context that they're in? Did this learning intervention perform well in a business context? We can't say that completely yet, but we can in a couple of years when we have enough data. And then the content is put in here, suggested based on that prioritization engine that runs in the back. All in Alteryx, Power BI, and Mail Merge. Then we have an action, content name plus hyperlink, and a last line. The last line is based on their personality profile. So, and this is part of an insights profiles. So we do, when people have an insights profile, we obviously don't dig into all the personal stuff. We are very much concerned about GDPR and privacy and all that stuff, so we don't do anything we can't do. We make sure to tell people what we do. But if you're red profile in the insights, you're probably into the actionable stuff. So go do it now before your competitors will take you over or whatever, right? So there'll be an action line that depends on your personality fit. And then we'll see if that engages people more or less. And that's then this email. Hi, Annelise. Not employee name 1. Thank you for engaging in artificial intelligence, rating yourself a 3 on Tuesday, the 19th of January, 2021. Oh, I did something. Hey, this is interesting. I don't know if you feel the same, but I do. This is one of the future skills for Novo Nordisk to stay competitive. Whoa, nice. We've seen lots of peers have marked this great video, because it's a video, right? The content, type of content, as complete, and we thought it might be of interest to you. Go do it. This may give you a competitive advantage. Can you guess what kind of personality profile that person has? Peter wouldn't get, Morten, Charlie, Toby wouldn't get the same email. We send out 10,000 emails, 10,000 different emails. They're personalized. This is not new, guys. This has happened in marketing for the last couple of decades. But now we're using learning data and we're using business data and performance data to shape our communication to make it relevant for people. Yeah, similar thing. There's not a lot of data in here, but down here there is. Again, a prioritization. If this course has a business context for people, if it's relevant for them, if they haven't taken it before, that's what will come through in these compelling messages. Yeah, so you can see over here, that's what it becomes. Data. So, let's see how many people actually know stuff about conversion rates. We have conversion rates between 0.27 and up to 5.13. Who in this room are impressed by those? Put your hand up if you are. There's a couple. It is crazy high, guys. Why am I saying that? Because it's not really impressive to have 2% conversion rate. Only 2% of the people you sent this stuff to actually did something. Yeah. But imagine if we scale this. How many emails do you get per day that you just delete? Probably quite a lot, or don't even look at or engage with, right? So hitting a conversion rate between marketeers would die for these rates, some would, in the real world with conversion rates. And then we're putting it into confidence intervals, and that means, can we repeat this? 9 out of 10 times we would get a similar rate, which is quite impressive. And in most of the cases, actually more than 50% of the cases, 99 times out of 100 times, we would be able to replicate the same result. That's what confidence intervals says. And if we do this enough, and if we scale it enough, the engagement, guys, is going to skyrocket over time. And we can measure all of this. So instead of sending out spray and pray emails about courses and upcoming stuff in your newsletters, you probably have newsletters. We have newsletters as well. They're not useless, but they're just not as useful. And we actually save a lot of energy, sustainability, because we're not sending as many emails to people. We're not putting as much pressure on the servers. And we're giving people exactly what they need, instead of something that we think they might need in a broader context. It's not rocket science, it's kind of cool. Yeah. But what if people sign up and haven't looked at the email? Well, we know, yes, we can also track that. So we look at how many sign-ups to these things that we send out have we taken responsibility. It's because of the email. And we can say that between 70 to 100% of the sign-ups to our courses, the learning activities, in that period where the campaign was running, happened because of the campaign. This kind of punctures the illusion that people just finds learning opportunities and just signs up for them and just does what they're supposed to do. So we target people with the right stuff at the right time, and they actually reward us by signing up because we did it. It's so cool. It's so refreshing. I'm not just sending courses out into the world not knowing where they went. I can track it all the way. I, as an L&D responsible, can now track whether I'm responsible for people signing up. At the end of the day, I can track it down to business performance as well. This is what we need to do. Yeah. I love this example. How many in here have a problem in their companies about not having enough female senior leaders? Hands up if you have that problem. I think it's a pretty well-recognized problem worldwide that we don't have enough female senior leaders in our companies. Are you guys in L&D trying to fix that? Some are nodding. Why not? Because we can. If we know who they are, then we can target them with the right upskilling opportunities. We know that people who go on our senior leadership development programs usually end up in a senior leadership position. Down to the day. We know there's a correlation between that. So we just need to get them on that program. The problem is they have to sign up on their own. Are they doing that? No. We have a confidence issue with our female population. They don't think they're good enough for senior leadership positions, and they don't know where to go. Okay, what do? We found 196 female upcoming leadership potential people in our organization through the data that we have on tenure, on gender, obviously, on a lot of other stuff. They are rating themselves on our LXP on their skills. Thank you for that. And we can see if they're rating themselves low on skills that are part of being a leader, that are kind of important to leadership, that indicates that they want to get better at leadership. So everyone who's rated themselves below 5, it's a scale from 1 to 8. If it was a scale from 1 to 5, that would have been kind of meaningful, but meaningless. But it's a 1 to 8 scale. So below 5, we found these 196 people, and we sent them an email saying, would you like to have better talent conversations? This was what the course was all about. And our conversion rate was 5%, which is super impressive, again, in my world at least. But we are actually doing something, and the people who signed up, we will follow their development. If they go into a senior leadership position at some point, we will be able to say that we contributed to that journey. We contributed to fixing the problem. It's one example. You can do it in a lot of ways. I can feel the energy in this room is about to die. So I'll browse through to the next stuff, and then you'll be working for the rest of the session before you go to beer, okay? All right? Well, yeah, thank you. That's the biggest applause I'll get today. Yeah, so we can also see are we actually getting people enrolled? Yes, we are, because of the campaigns. Super cool. So now you'll be working for the next 13 minutes. Super quick case. Group as you find it meaningful. You'll probably stay in the same groups. That's how human beings work. That's fine. Sales seems to be dropping rapidly in the US market. Can you help? Please clarify on the piece of paper. If you need more paper, I've got more paper up here. You can just come and collect it. What data do you need? What's your intervention plan? Who will you target and why? How will you target them? What's in it for me? So what's in it for them? It's called with them. I couldn't write with it. No one would get that. So what's the compelling message? And what's your impact target? That's the most important thing. Rule: make all the assumptions you need, but be ready to defend and explain them. So you can make up your own reality, but you damn well have to have to stand by it. Does everyone understand what we're trying to do here? I'll keep the slide up here. These are the things you need to describe on the piece of paper. Please have that discussion. And please start with the problem. I've even helped you. Go! Yay! And there's paper up here. Have fun while you do it. If you don't want to do it, there's an exit, the end of the room. Well, they're out. We will take time. The embodied ones. Social influence. To be honest, it can be everybody. Everyone.
Thank you.
It's probably different.
Fantastic, I'm back on. Just 2 minutes till feedback, everyone, so some mad scribbling. And you'll be happy to know that Peter's offered to take questions in the bar when it involves beer.
For
LPI.
Yeah, we
Never
we
got to go
judged,
to the awards because of COVID, but it was great.
Oh, you didn't go to the awards? So you get to that one. Were you judged?
Right, time is up. I'm looking for people who have scribbled lots. There's a lot of scribbling going on. This one looks particularly good. I'm just going to pick on you, I'm afraid.
All right, we made quite a few assumptions. First of all, we made the assumption of, is training able to help? Do we need to look at the wider picture in terms of, is it performance-based, is it market-based, what is the problem as to why it's falling? We made the assumption based on the questions below that training is the answer. So based on that, then we decided that we need to look at the bigger picture as to why is it dropping. Let's look at the data, let's look at the analysis, let's look at the competitors, let's look at the market. Let's find out what are we doing different to everybody else. And then in terms of the targeting and then the impact and what it's in for me, given its sales, you know, commission is going to hurt them quite hard. So this is what's in it if you don't do anything, versus let's fix the problem and let's everyone be happy. So there's also quite a thing there in terms of looking at leadership too, in terms of it's not always a grassroots problem. Primarily, yes, and we will go to the root of the cause of the problem based on the analysis that we were doing, but then also, you know, it's a bigger picture and it is an all hands on deck and a very flat hybrid model in that respect. So everybody needs to play a part in bringing it all up. But is training always the answer? Who knows?
That's a good question. Thank you for that. Yes, that was really, really nice.
It's very good. Now, do I have one last worthy volunteer for today? I happen to know that Charlie had been madly scribbling.
Hannah, there's a gentleman at the back.
I'm going to run. I'm going to let you off, Charlie.
It's not on. It is. It is on. We don't have enough data to answer your question, Peter.
There you go.
We had
You've
the
been
first
told.
point. We got some stuff we want to ask. It depends on that.
Okay. That is a fair challenge. Thank
That
you
is
for
well defended.
Right. I think we're about ready for what's to come, right? The next 30 slides? No. So I'm going to go back to the slide that is the most important one, because slides are important, obviously. Let me just go to that one. It's not the burger one, it's not this one, it's not this one, it's not that one. It's this one. It's my nightmare. I have to backtrack from every training, every program, everything that we do in my part of the business. We have to backtrack and find the problem that we once were trying to solve before we designed the program that's running now. Could you please start here from now on, so that if I circle back into one of your companies at some point, that I won't have to backtrack all that stuff. It's super difficult to backtrack when there was no real problem that we designed from. So please find the problem first and then do the design. That's all I want to leave with you now. Please have a lovely day going forward, and thank you for being part of this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone, as well, for participating in our little runaround. As Peter has kindly offered, drinks and Q&A, and you'll be happy to know that you picked the right room for the drinks, because they're just outside the door. So I'd like to thank you all for coming today. We hope to see you back again in May for the double whammy day that is LT23 UK, and have great drinks and a safe journey home. Thank you.